What?
I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Now, I'd like to take the time to introduce my co-valedictorian, Matthew Smith.
Good afternoon, my fellow American citizens. I am honored, yet humbled, as I stand before you in my most recent victory in this presidential election. As we press...
Matthew?
That wasn't planned. Well, that was definitely the wrong speech. That's kind of embarrassing, and my hat falls off. Awesome. Let me find my speech, because I actually turned away. Awesome. What happened? It's graduation, not my presidential inauguration. And it's 2013, not 2044. Let's try that again. Good afternoon, class of 2013. Congratulations! I know we've all worked very hard to be where we are today, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. Good job. You know, I got to say, you guys look great out of those uniforms. So I have to admit, I wasn't exactly sure where to take my speech when I first started writing it. I was very, very tempted to make this my first campaign speech for my presidential run in 2044, but I don't want to just talk about myself the whole time, and it's way too early for campaign promises. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to talk about all the taxes I want to cut, and how I want to cut congressional pay, but raise pay for those serving in the military, and my plan to balance yet strengthen entitlement programs like Social Security and Medicare, so that we can keep them, but not run up giant deficits. And I could go off about how safe and prosperous I want to make the nation, but I'll save her the campaign trail. I got 31 years. What I decided to talk about is what I actually learned in high school. And I don't mean biology or trig, because we know we're never, ever using that again, ever. But I decided I'd talk about what I actually learned in high school. I figured I'd put my Dr. Phil hat on and pretend like I actually know something about life. And I boiled it down to 3 main points. And I hope that what I say can be valuable to all of my fellow classmates and all the people in the audience. My first point I want to make is as we go off into this next step in our lives, don't be afraid to be different. You know, like 2 Chainz. No. In all seriousness, when I came into high school, I was very insecure about myself, and I didn't have that much self-confidence, and I was so worried about what other people thought about me. And I realized that you can't ever be happy if you're just worried about what other people think about you. A great man named Neil A. Maxwell one time said, "Be different from the world in order to make a difference in the world." And what that means is that you're never going to have an impact on someone's life if you're just worried about them thinking you're cool. But you can work wonders in the world if you can just own being yourself. And if my hat would stay. Don't ever be a second-rate version of yourself when you can be a first-rate, don't ever be a second-rate version of someone else when you can be a first-rate version of yourself. People are only comfortable around you when you're comfortable with yourself. And the only person that matters what they think of you is yourself. So ladies and gentlemen, as we take this next step in our lives, do not ever do anything to disrespect your body, your dignity, or your reputation simply to feel accepted or approved temporarily. It is not worth it, I promise you that. Above all, have respect for yourself, because you have value, and if you don't think you have value, you're wrong. No matter how insignificant you think you are, you have infinite more value than you could possibly ever care to imagine. I promise you that. My next part is one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite people. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Jesus Christ. He's kind of a cool guy. I like him. He said, "Whosoever is chief among you, let him be a servant." Now what that means is that it's important to be humble. If you're the best at something, if you're the smartest, you're the fastest, you're the strongest, whatever, you are not better than anyone else. You simply have an obligation to help those around you. And this applies all over. Maybe next year in college, you're the most popular kid in the freshman class. So maybe have lunch one day with that kid who doesn't seem to have many friends. Or say hi to that girl who just seems to be a little bit lonely. I say you don't get respect by being the best at something and rubbing it in everyone else's face. You get respect by working as hard as you can for yourself and helping everyone else around you with what you've learned. No one is better than anyone else, and anyone that tries to say they're better than another person is simply insecure about their own accomplishments in life. So above all, be a friend to those around you. My last point is simple. There's more to life than money. Now I say that with a grain of salt. As we go off into college or the military or some other school or something, you have to work. And then you have to work some more. And then when you think you can't work anymore, you have to work even more. You have to work as hard as you possibly can in life. That's the only way around it. Get as much education as possible. Because in the end, education is one of the very few things no one can ever take away from you. So if all this, you end up being very successful and you get a lot of money, then go for it. Why not? But my point is that at the end of the day, money will not bring you lasting happiness. Yes, it will relieve some stresses. It is nice to have, but it will not bring you lasting happiness. The things that bring us lasting happiness in life aren't exactly things. They're the relationships we have with our friends and our family. It's the faith that we have. It's the hope that we have for a better tomorrow. That is what brings us lasting happiness. So whether you're a doctor or a teacher or a garbage man, or you're in the military, or you're president of the United States in the year 2044, either way you can still be happy. So if you have to choose, for your heart, not your bank account. In closing, I'd just like to thank all of my fellow classmates for the wonderful high school career. I've been to school with some of you for the past 4 years and some of you the past 13 years, and I really do love you guys. I'm so happy the experiences I've been able to share with all you guys. I'd like to thank all the teachers and the administrators and the parents especially, and the families who push us to where we are today, because it's because of them that we are where we are today. I wish all of you guys the best of luck as we take this next step in our lives. I know we'll all be very successful. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, whoever that was. I don't know who, but I love you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, faculty, and graduates!